Hey guys, and welcome to another free plugin Friday. Today we look at another plugin from Sampleson, and that is Sub. So what is Sub? Sub is basically an analog drum machine. Instead of using samples like a lot of free software does, it creates the drum sounds itself. Obviously, it isn't actually analog, it is digital because it is a plugin, but it basically works in the same way as the original Roland TR-808 worked, and it kind of is going for that 808 style sound. So what I've done is I've hooked it up to my Roland TR-8, which is similar. It also doesn't use samples. And what we're going to do is just have a look at the plugin. It's fairly fully featured. You don't have pitch for everything. I think straight off the bat, that's my biggest gripe, but it has a really cool thing, and that's this BD sub pitch, which is for the bass drum. So you can get those really huge, super subby, long decaying kind of bass drum sounds popular in trap and stuff. So to start it off, I've just got a beat on my TR-8. We're going to play it just so you can hear the sounds I've dialed up and then look at some of the features. So here we go. So that was a basic kind of hip-hoppy, trappy style beat using a lot of the sounds from here. So let's go dive straight into the features. Now you've got your idea of the kind of plugin it is, which is the 808 kind of thing. Okay, so let's now just look at the features and go through a few more sounds, and we'll go through what you can do with that beat running. So basically you've got pan along the top, and this is for all the different drum sounds. So you can pan each of the single sounds wherever you like, which is, common on your 808 style. It's really laid out like an 808, but if you're not familiar with that kind of drum machine, we'll go through it and kind of explain. But it's fairly simple. Then you've got level for all of them, so you can mix them in here. And then you have this section which depends on the drum. So for the bass drum, it's the click. It's how clicky that front end click is. For the snare drum, it is the tone, so it's the pitch that the actual tone of the snare drum is. And then you've got decay for open hi-hat and tone again for cymbal. And then down here you have decay and snap for bass drum and snare. And then for the toms and congas, you can adjust the pitch. Now, unfortunately, you can't adjust the pitch of any of the cymbals, and you can't change the decay of something like the closed hi-hat or the cowbell or something. It would be nice to be able to do that, especially seeming it's not using samples, it's actually producing the sounds. I don't think it'd be too hard to implement, but again, like always on Free Plugin Friday, you can't complain too much about free plugins because really you're getting something, you're not paying for it, you spend a little time downloading it, and that's about it. So let's just go through the bass drum. So I was playing on my TR-8, I also have my MIDI keyboard here. I can't play all the sounds off the TR-8, so what I'm going to do is replay that section, but what we're going to do is just listen to the bass drum. So what I might do is just bring up a new pattern and clear it and put in some bass drums. Something like this. Okay, so we've got that, so let's look at the features when we're there. So we've got the pan. Quite obvious pan. You generally want to pan your bass drum center. Level. Click. Quite subtle in this instance. Decay. Then you've got the most interesting thing and what gives it kind of its name, and that is the sub pitch, the sub section. So basically you've got pitch, decay and gain, and this is a sub oscillator tied to the kick. Now you can make this out of tune. I've kind of tuned it to the sound, but because it has a pitch, you can make it out of tune and it gets a bit weird then. But let's just have a look at that. So if I turn that off, this is what the kick sounds like. Let's bring the decay down. You've got your typical kick. Bring that sub up. You can see what I've added there. And I've added plenty of decay on that. So bring out the decay and you can really hear that sub. Now you might not be able to if you're listening on your phone or speakers that don't have a lot of low end, but there's a lot of sub going on there. And you can pitch that. That is so low I can't hear it on my speakers, but I'm definitely sure it's there. Then you mix in that decay of the actual kick. You of course make it shorter. So you're going for more of a dance kind of thing. Kind of go something like that. Maybe lower. I like it there. So it's a bit more punchy there, obviously, and you still have that sub pitch, so it's really cool. So let's move on to the snare. Your standard kind of 808 snare. We just listen to some snare there. Again, pan and level, we all know what that does. Now this tone really affects that kind of tone. So if we turn the snap down a little bit so you can hear it. Quite subtle, but you can hear that different in pitch there. Then snap is obviously the amount of snap. Snares, if you will. Okay, now you got your normal toms. Wait, where's the toms? And they can be pitched. I mean, as they're set, they're pretty good. You get the idea. You can pitch it however you like and to suit your song. So moving on, you have Rimshot, hand clap, cowbell, maracas, closed hi-hat. These all just have pan and level, but they sound good. So if we just listen to Rimshot, 808 style Rimshot. Now, hand clap has some built-in reverb, and it is annoying that I can't get rid of that because it doesn't really seem to sit properly with everything else, but that is what it is. It sounds fine. Cowbell, one of the most recognizable recognizable electronic cowbells ever made is the 808 cowbell, and that's basically it. Maracas. You can hear with the maracas especially, and a bit of the closed hi-hat, how it isn't a single sample. It kind of slightly changes as it's creating a different sound each time, and this is what separates these kind of plugins, which actually, and like something like the TR8, which actually creates the sound rather than uses samples, is there's a little bit more organicness to them. There's a little bit more kind of variation, which makes it a little bit more interesting, and you can't really hear it repeat or anything, which is really cool. Close hi-hat the same. Now I do wish this had a decay because I like a really, really tight close hi-hat, so you can get that kind of trap kind of tight thing going, but can't do that here, unfortunately. But you can do that everywhere else and use this, you know, with You get free samples that do that, and you can use all the other sounds from this. Now the open hi-hat has a decay. So it varies quite a lot. And the cymbal has a tone. And then you have a clave. So that is basically the plugin. Now let's just mess around with some stuff in real time. So I'm going to go back to what we had on that pattern, that first one, and then I'm going to move to more of a dance pattern. So let's have a listen. Okay, I'm going to change patterns now. Okay, for this, of course, you don't want that. You want something like this. So I don't think there is much more to say about sub. It is a very particular sound, but it sounds great to my ears. Not all the sounds I would use, but that sub oscillator, that bass drum, that snare kind of work, and you can supplement it with samples and everything, and it has that organic thing that, like I said, samples don't necessarily have, so it's good to add in to your kind of workflow. So that sub, go check it out. I'll put the link in the description. If you haven't subscribed, go on and subscribe. Free Plugin Fridays every Friday, and I should have videos coming out 3 to 4 times a week at the moment. That is my aim, so more subscribers gives me more willpower to do that and get that done. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.